I used to say that I'm not a morning person. I've said it so many times that it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's true that we can be our worst enemies, and one of the things we tend to do to self-sabotage is making definitive statements about our abilities, like I'm not good with money, I can't remember names, I can't function without coffee, I'm not that smart, I'm too picky. One statement I regret making is I'm not a morning person. And if I could go back and relive the past 30 years, one change I'd make is to wake up early, before 6 a.m., when most people are still sleeping, businesses are closed, roads are free of traffic, and my active day doesn't begin for another 2 to 3 hours. Because when you wake up early, you have a chance to pay yourself first. Imagine having a good job with a decent pay. You have plans for the future and want to save for them. The best way to do it is to pay yourself first. As soon as the money comes in, you set aside a portion for savings before anything else. Most people who pay themselves last face a very common obstacle: the financial pressures of life. There'll always be another bill to pay, another financial responsibility to take on, another restaurant or vacation destination to visit, another pair of shoes to buy, a bigger car to desire. There'll always be a Jones family to keep up with. Financial pressures are constant, endless, and they have a way to sneak upon us and ravage our bank accounts. So if you're really serious about saving, take that money out as soon as it comes in and shield it from your lifestyle. The same can be said about your day. When you wake up in the morning, you have about 16 hours of active life ahead of you. Everything you'll ever achieve in life depends on how you use those 16 hours every day. You may think 16 hours are plenty, but they're not. Most of them will be consumed by modern life's demands. Waking up, commuting, the never-ending work cycle, or if you're a student, the class and study cycle. Then there's grocery shopping, bills to pay, mail to manage, car maintenance, cooking, cleaning, doctor's appointments, kids to take care of, you name it. The pressures of life are constant, endless, and they have a way to sneak upon us and ravage our time. And if on top of all that, you spend time on electronics, you keep up with the news, the political cycle, or social media, what's left of your attention will be further taken away from you. There'll always be another news cycle to keep up with, a new fun video to watch on TikTok, or a new show to binge watch on Netflix. People who pay themselves last face a familiar everyday routine. The demands of life eat up all of their time, and before they know it, it's bedtime, and they end up repeating the same cycle the next day. If you like me, there are things you'd like to do to improve your well-being and sense of fulfillment. Things that perhaps you haven't had time for because of life's more pressing demands. Perhaps you'd like to paint, read books, play an instrument, exercise more, go for walks, go back to school, or start a side business. I've met someone in the past for whom cleaning the house every day was deeply relaxing, almost healing. It was a way to disconnect from a stressful life. For me, it's spending 2 to 3 hours of solitude every day. During this time, I don't interact with people. I don't keep up with the news, answer the phone, or watch anything. I spend time alone with myself. alone with my thoughts, with what I've done, what I'm doing, and what I'm about to do. These 2 to 3 hours I spend every day are paramount to my well-being. I call this time my equity. When I start my workday after this time of solitude, I have equity. I'm at peace and I'm grounded. I know what I'm doing and why I do it, and have a higher level of tolerance and acceptance over the things I can and cannot control. We often think that a great life is about high incomes, big accomplishments, and lavish possessions. But in my opinion, some of the most lasting joys of life come from the simple, everyday moments of freedom, self-care, and fulfillment you give to yourself. A great life is much simpler and more accessible than we think. Happiness is often made of things money can't buy. Happiness can be very cheap or free. Yet it's often unreachable because we're usually the obstacle. We're usually the ones prioritizing other things like money, social status, possessions, goals, duty, and appearances over our well-being and happiness. If you're serious about experiencing the long-lasting joys of life, pay yourself first. Think of it like compound interest, but for well-being and happiness. Every morning walk in the park, workout session, book reading. Every morning you gift 2 to 3 hours to yourself adds up. Years down the line, you'll be looking at a life bursting with flavor. A life you may not be able to imagine right now.